This is the Judicial Brady List, and today we're going to discuss who's responsible for the death of George Floyd. Obviously, Derek Chauvin was prosecuted and convicted of putting his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9+ minutes until his death. And there were 3 other officers on the call. Apparently 2 of them were helping to restrain Floyd, and the third was keeping the crowd at bay. So actually this week, Chauvin was stabbed in prison. He's in federal prison, which means more lawsuits, more costs to the taxpayers, because they can't protect the guy from being stabbed in prison. You know, the federal government has an obligation to protect these people. To live in prison with constant fear of being stabbed is just outrageous. But although I have to say I'm not losing a lot of sleep over it. The guy's pure evil from my observation. But the other 3 were convicted and received lesser sentences. What was their culpability in the thing? Obviously it was significant, but I think that there are others that are responsible as well. Chauvin is the one who made the direct contact that caused the death of him. But what caused Chauvin to believe that what he was doing was appropriate and that he could get away with what it is that he was doing? And the same is true for the other 3 officers. What led them to believe that they could get away with this, that this was appropriate behavior? and they stood there and they did nothing. And so I guess we're going to discuss that. First would be their training. What is it? What are the details in their training that would lead them to believe that this is appropriate? Their supervision. What are their supervisors doing that would lead them to believe that what they're doing is appropriate? I'm going to suggest their union is culpable. Police unions are a significant issue, and they need to be addressed. But I'm also going to suggest that the judiciary has significant responsibility in this regard, and I'm going to give you an example of how that might be. I would be interested in the police don't want to give up their data, so the public doesn't have the ability to do this kind of research. But I would want to know every judicial interaction that Derek Chauvin had, and see what transpired with each and every case. And I'll give you an example of what goes on. There was a case where there was a couple of kids, who just happened to be black, surprise, driving around and playing their music real loud. And I'd been in that area before, and it's insane. These speakers these kids have shake the whole neighborhood. It's really annoying, and it upsets people. It disrupts businesses, and so anyway, some cops pulled these 2 kids over, dragged the one kid out of the car, gave him the business. The whole thing was on camera. It was completely unnecessary. The cop's ego gets involved. They should have just given the kids a citation for the music and be done with it. But no, they got to drag them out and teach them a lesson. They think that the police are there to hand out penalties. Well, that's the judiciary's responsibility. So the matter goes to court, and they they charged the kids with the noise issue, but also disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, whatever other nonsense they can think of. So what does the judge do? The judge dismisses the disorderly and resisting because it's utter nonsense to begin with, and gives them the ticket for the music. But to me, and then that's it. Case is done. But what about the fact that the cops beat the crap out of this kid? And the judge says nothing? What about the district attorney? So the district attorney, they probably give the file to the district attorney. District attorney probably barely read it because, they can't be bothered with this. And whatever, they get their conviction for the music. But they completely ignore the fact that the cops assaulted this kid. We're talking felony assault, and so the district attorney did nothing. The judge did nothing, and so this provides feedback to the cops that they can get away with this stuff. That basically the district attorney and the courts are saying this is okay. It's not only is it appropriate behavior, but you can get away with it. Not an issue. And so that's just one case. So I'd be interested in all the cases that Chauvin was involved with and see what happened in each individual case. And it's probably dozens and dozens of them where the court and the district attorney provided feedback to the cops that they're doing a great job. Keep beating the crap out of these kids. Keep putting your knee on the neck of guys like George Floyd. Go ahead and choke out guys like Eric Gardner, for selling cigarettes for $1 on a street corner. That's the feedback that the court and the district attorney are providing. I remember I was on a online chat that was hosted by the local newspaper, and they had the district attorney on there, and I had an opportunity to ask the district attorney a question, and I asked him how many police officers have ever been prosecuted for falsifying police reports. And he's been the district attorney for 30 some years. He says, I can remember 2 cases. He says, one of them was when the state police planted fingerprints on a gas can to frame this this woman, and it was a story that made 60 minutes. It was a pretty big story, and 2 over the course of 30 plus years that he'd been the district attorney, and so yes, I think the judiciary plays a role, but it appears to be a systemic issue. So the judge is in a position where he doesn't want to rock the boat with the cops. He doesn't want to rock the boat with the district attorney. He's making $250,000 a year, and and he just go along with the program. He's there to make a determination to abide by the to apply the law, which I can respect that. I appreciate that, but I'm just saying that that's why this stuff happens, and so it's just kind of a systemic issue, and and those judges, they want their position, they want their pension, they want their benefits, they want their salary, and so what where is their bread buttered? Is it with justice and the law, or is it playing ball with the district attorney and the and the police. It's a bit of a conflict of interest. So I'm going to tell you, the district attorney and the judiciary are responsible in the death of George Floyd. So the George Floyd case was obviously in Minnesota, and so let me show you this. Here is the chief judge, Minnesota, Jenny Starr, and the buck stops with her. She's the chief judge. So, Jenny Starr has now been inducted into the Judicial Brady List.